I'm Chuck Norris, president of the United Fine Arts Federation. This is Danny Lane.
The history of martial arts can be traced back more than 1,000 years, starting in China, then migrating to Okinawa, Japan, and then Korea. Taekwondo, the Korean national sport and primary method of self-defense in that country, means punch and kick art. The hyungs, here in America called forms, are the foundation and base of all martial arts disciplines, especially Taekwondo. A dance-like routine, almost mechanical in its application, the techniques are taught by masters all over the world and interpreted as an imaginary fight between the practitioner and a multitude of opponents in a complete circle. Besides teaching the practitioner balance, timing, breath control, footwork, memory recall, and expressing the artistic expression of their physical techniques, what do all the different techniques and movements really mean? They seem almost senseless to dedicate years of perfecting each hyung. During this video series, this is what we're going to find out, the secrets of Taekwondo Hyung. Hello, I'm Danny Lane, National Director of World Martial Arts Centers, 6th-degree black belt in the Chuck Norris United Fighting Arts Federation, and Master in Taekwondo. And welcome to my video series on the hidden secrets of Taekwondo. During this video series, I'm going to pass on what I feel are the real self-defense interpretations and applications of all the basic fundamentals, the hyungs, and the complete fighting system of Taekwondo. I think you'll be amazed. I hope this will educate you and enlighten and also open up a whole new world of knowledge in your study of Taekwondo. This videotape will be about one-step fighting. One-step fighting, I feel, is very instrumental in developing your self-defense techniques because it teaches you angle, teaches direction, teaches you the right technique to identify the target area, and also it teaches you to combine all your open hand strikes, your closed hand strikes, your knees, elbows, kicks, and everything in a combination of self-defense techniques. One-step fighting encompasses 8 different angles of attacks and 4 different ranges, because a situation can be from any different angle, from any different direction. First of all, I want to discuss the 8 angles of attack. First of all, you can come straight in. Angle number 1 is coming straight in at 12 o'clock to defend, either against a grab, punch, kick, strike, weapon attack, whatever it may be. Now the second angle will be a 45-degree angle off to the right front. Or I can step off 90 degrees to the right, or 45 degrees to the right rear, or straight back. So anything from the center, stepping on my right leg, I can go straight on 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Any of these different steps that I use, I have to use different techniques. So the one steps are going to teach you to identify the range that you're in and what appropriate technique to use at that specific angle, at that specific distance. Same thing with your left side. If you step in at 12 o'clock, then that's the same. Or 45, 90, or 45 to the rear, or straight back. So you have the same angles whether you step with the right leg or the left leg. It's basically like having a straight line and then another straight line almost like a T, and then drawing an X in the middle of that T. And you have all your different angles that you should step and learn to identify what you're capable of doing from that angle and that distance. The 4 ranges we work with, actually it could be 5, the 4 ranges of combat, basically the first range is the grappling range, whereas you've got a hold of somebody in this position. The second range is just a little farther away, which is the close range. What techniques can you use in the close range? For instance, like a boxing hook, or a knee, or an elbow. Then we go to medium range. If I just step out another foot or so, none of those techniques can apply. So I have to go to my longer range type of techniques. And then the next range would be your long range. That would be your full extension kicks, like your fronts, or your side kicks, or your spinning back kicks, or some type of lunging technique. Your fifth range is basically out here where you'd have to use some type of footwork to close in. Or at this range also you can turn and go the other direction. So the one-step fighting has to be classified and looked at from all these different perspectives. The angles of attack, what weapons are available, and then also the range that you're in. Can I use that technique from that specific range? On this particular videotape, I'm going to encompass 10 self-defense one-steps. Some of them will be combinations of self-defense moves. We'll do the one-step, then we'll break it down. And if you look at one-steps like a very short form, or kata, and break down the individual self-defense moves in it, then it'll be more beneficial to you. One-step fighting number 1 will be from a right-side attack, so I'll do some from the right, some from the left. First of all, one-step fighting drill. Drill is a key word. So both people have a job to do, and also a drill is pre-rehearsed so nobody gets hurt. And from the drill and through repetition, you'll be able to develop the combination of techniques. And then, in a combative situation, your subconscious mind should remember the techniques and you should be able to apply them. In law enforcement, I feel that one-step fighting was very instrumental in preparing me for street combat because I could rehearse the movements, the angles, the different situations numerous times in numerous repetitions, and then when the situation actually occurred, I already had the answer for it. One-step fighting number 1 involves using moving into the right. First of all, if you're fighting and a right punch comes, whether it's straight, in one-step fighting everybody throws a straight punch, but not everybody in the street throws a straight punch. Hardly anybody does. And especially if they throw a hook or a straight punch, doesn't matter. If they throw a straight punch, you have a little less time, but if they throw a hook, you have a little more time. Against the right hand coming, basically, there's 4 different things you've got to think about. 1, most people move back, especially if they don't have a lot of training. 2, we kind of move inside. A trained fighter tries to move inside and cut off the angle. 3, some people duck under and roll up, and that takes training and an instinct and also a lot of practice. And the 4th thing that you don't want to do is just stand still and try to deal with it on the end of the punch and try to block it. So what I advocate is basically moving footwork. So if I'm here and he's coming here, if I step inside, even if I miss my block, I've moved inside the angle of the punch and I've minimized the shock of the blow. Now the basic knife hand block that we use in traditional form could apply there, but basically I try to take a basic move and then I take a variation of the basic move. So what I'm doing here is basically this type of block. My hand acts basically as a safety latch, so the hand can't go ahead and slide over and hit me. Also, one thing to remember about blocking a punch, if you block it right here and the momentum of that person coming forward, the elbow could go ahead and strike you in the face. If you block it up too high, the punch can slide on in. So you've got to be precise where you're trying to block exactly in between the wrist and the elbow. So one-step fighting number 1. We move the right foot in. Now I'm in perfect position, medium range position to counterpunch here, here, here. Since I'm in long-range punching position, I'm in mid-range kicking position. I throw a snap kick to the groin and then move back. That's the first set of self-defense moves we teach at white belt level. Second set, if somebody's 2 steps away from you and you have room and time, they start to approach you, then a rear leg side kick is appropriate there, and a back fist and an uppercut. So set 2 will involve a side kick to the body, and then a back fist and then an uppercut. Set 3 is a grappling move where somebody grabs you. We use the web hand choke to break their balance. Sweep the person down, control them. We have an arm bar position here, or a finishing punch, or some type of finishing move on the ground. So in one-step fighting number 1, we blend all 3 sets together. It looks a little bit like this. Right. 1, 2, 3. Hit. Yes, I hit. Yeah, hit. Hit. Yeah. Now we're ready for one-step fighting number 2. First of all, the defense will be, instead of moving in to the right like we did on number 1, we'll be moving straight back. But action's faster than reaction. So if somebody is close to you, a lot of times you can hit somebody with a punch, a back fist, or a jab, or some technique, basically 3 to 4/10 of a second. It's been measured. We measure our punches and strikes, our reaction timing. If a person's quick and they don't telegraph their action, they can hit you before you can react a lot of times. So the first mistake would be to be too close without having your defense ready. But once again, with traditional blocking, by the time that punch comes fast, if you try to do a basic block and come up, a lot of times it's too late. So what I try to teach in my 1 steps in practical self-defense is what we call spontaneous reaction, which is the quickest, easiest, most natural way to react. And most human beings have a built-in self-defense mechanism of spontaneous reaction anyway. So this particular one-step fighting number 2, I picture a straight thrust coming towards the neck or chest area with a knife or a sharp object or so forth. So it's going to be a linear attack shooting straight in. So what we have to do is quickly move the head and block up. Now I'm dropping the wrist and I'm blocking with the forearm bone. Hopefully, whatever was in the hand might be dislodged at that point. The second part of the move is step back, go to a wrist lock. Even though this is not in the 1 step, this is a point that we could attack the hand if he did have a weapon. The third technique is a loosening up technique. Thrust kick to the body, pull that person in. Then cross elbow to the jaw, push him back, pull him back in with a reverse elbow. The second set, which is a totally different self-defense move, is I trap the hand. Now I'm backwards. He's from behind me. Elbow. The elbow drives diagonally up. Not straight this way because the chest is too strong. Diagonally up. Then strike. Then strike. So this self-defense move could be used like he comes around my neck. I could spread out, hit, hit, and hit. Third self-defense move would be like a bear hug from behind. You drop down. You grab the leg. And you stomp kick to the groin. You come into a leg lock. So one-step fighting number 2 basically covers 3 self-defense moves. If we break down the first self-defense move, let's use simulation like a knife. Thrust, block, trap, kick, elbow, elbow. Go up, take down, and secure the weapon. Second self-defense move, a rear grab from behind. I step out, peel down, hit, 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 up, throw, lock. Third self-defense move, rear bear hug, bridging back, dropping, kicking. If I want to do the leg lock, I kick, roll him over, hand, and come up. Now performing this in one nice smooth routine. One-step fighting number 2. Height. Huzzah! Hit. Yeah. Huzzah! One-step fighting number 3 will be against a straight line attack to the midsection. Once again, we have all the different attacks coming at different angles, so you can at least prepare yourself for that type of attack. Once again, this is going to be a linear attack coming straight in. And what I'm going to use, beginners may use a forearm block like so. What makes this work is I'm moving my target away from the strike. So you have to be quick in moving. The advanced version will be the windmill block, the double block, where you're moving off. Once you get the sensitivity of your hands moving together, you're able to trap up like this. So the hand comes here into here. 1, 2. The left hand parries it first. The right hand redirects it and tries to grab it. If you're successful there, we're going to loosen them up with a kick, short range, round kick to the body. Strike the floating ribs up. Now let's assume that there's a weapon in the hand. If the arm is, I have a hold of the arm, I have to strike the elbow to dislodge the weapon or to lock the elbow so I can step under and then strike it again. My third point of self-defense will be to drive the shoulder here, use the takedown. If there's still a weapon here, I can strike it or push it down or push the person to his face and control the person. This time we'll do it with a knife, slowly, block, evade, trap, loosen up, strike, 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 control. Okay, at regular speed. One-step fighting number 3. Hit! Hit! Sit! Now one-step fighting number 4. Number 1, I had you do a version of the knife hand block. Number 2, I had you do a variation of the high block. Number 3, I had you do a variation of the outside forearm block, which is the windmill block. The palm block with the forearm block coming up and then trapping the hands in. This way you have to work on the sensitivity and the circular movement. Number 4 involves the 4th basic defense, the inside defense. If somebody grabs me, I come up here, I can knock the hands together, like so. If he has attacking me with a weapon or a punch here, I can just use the inside defense. Now, the second movement in the technique is to not move straight up at 12 o'clock. But say it's coming in, I'm just going to move off to the side. Now my arm is going to get energy off his arm and come straight back. So it's kind of going to ricochet or bounce off and redirect into here. So it's kind of like when we're free sparring. A lot of times you block the technique and hit with the same hand. So when the hand comes, boom, bam, I'm right back with a back fist, an overhand left, and an uppercut. So in number 4, we're working basic hand techniques or boxing techniques. So from a ready stance, the punch comes, we block, hit, boom, and hit. Working in side position. Combinations, your defense, your strike, and your strike. Your first strike or your lead-off technique doesn't have to be a knockout type of technique, but it does have to stun the person in order to get your power techniques in. So the block redirect works enough. The second set are knees and elbows, mid-range combat. So our second set of techniques, after the uppercut, I shoot an elbow straight across to the chin. You may have to step up a little bit. If an action goes one way, then a reverse action can come back. And what you'll see here is I'm using my owner bone to strike the neck, not the knife hand itself, because that leaves the hand open to trap the neck back here. So after the uppercut, 1, 2, 3, pulling right down into the left knee, 4, right down with the elbow to the back of the neck. Set 3, grab, knees coming up. And once the person raises up, just to finish, and we're practicing now blending some Aikido with our hand techniques and our knees and elbows, we spin, and we just do a sword arm takedown to finish off. So basically, this whole series of moves could go together or could go individually with each technique. You could do this and this. You can do that and that. You can do elbow and chop. Or you can just reach in and head grab and knee smash or elbow. So there's many self-defense moves in number 4. We'll blend it together now in a nice smooth drill. One-step fighting number 4. Ready? Hey! Yeah, hit! Yeah, hit! Hit! One-step fighting number 5 involves the inside defense, very similar to number 4. With exception, you'll notice I'm going to do a cross step. So it's going to be against a circular attack coming into this angle with a spinning elbow. So the first attack, a weapon or whatever, is hit immediately and then strike to the face. Now, a continuation movement would be a circular heel kick. Not an upward heel kick, but a circular heel kick comes from behind, as you can see, and comes back forward like this. So you'll go from actually the scrotum back front towards the groin here. As soon as you react or throw the heel kick, even if the person grabs you from behind and you do the kick, the person reacts down and you're into the neck grab here, into a body throw. You can push the chin back, finish him off with a spear hand to the throat. Once again, slowly, going to move inside the angle, the strike, blocking, continuing to spin, striking, kicking, grabbing, throwing, pushing back the chin, opening up the technique for the spear hand strike. One-step fighting number 5. Broken down. Hit! 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 One-step fighting number 6 is against a straight line attack, such as a weapon or a knife coming to the throat. The first thing is to parry and at the same time simultaneously strike with a ridge hand to the side of the neck. We have a lot of self-defense movements off of this particular technique, so it's a parry, block, and a strike into here at this point. Shooting a short punch to the floating ribs, an elbow to the sternum or heart point, spinning elbow to the kidney, chop to the side of the neck, take down, and then follow with a punch or a strike into the neck area. So what's unique about this particular situation, one step, is the footwork involved, the blend, and the flowing behind. So you're not stationary in front. Once again, slowly, block counter ridge hand, uppercut, elbow, step across, spinning elbow, behind with a chop to the neck, stomping takedown, follow up at any point, strike or punch. Full speed now. Ready? Hit! Say-ya! Hit! 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 Say-ya! One-step fighting number 7 is more with the open hands. So in all the one-steps I've covered up to this point, I've tried to blend all types of different techniques, from open hands, knees, elbows, punches, grappling, throws, etc. So when you're practicing your martial arts, you blend the whole compilation of styles together. On number 7, the first technique is basically a windmill block coming off into here. So you're going to do a palm block moving inside. Second technique will be a chop to the side of the neck, palm heel to the nose or chin, ridge hand to the groin. As they react down, you come into a rolling back fist, shift down with the bottom fist. Once you react to this point here, up with an elbow, come across with an eye gouge. As they come back instinctively, strike, strike, open up the neck for an attack here and an attack here. Shooting for a technique at this point and a straight punch. From this point here, we spin for a claw heel and then a chop down to the neck. So the reason I teach this drill is, for one, to take a little bit of the power off the movements, let your open hand techniques blend, and also go to the different vital points of the body. In a reality self-defense situation, you're not going to be doing 14-count drills probably in this sequence. But each individual technique is a self-defense move all by itself. So it just challenges you to move a little quicker. At medium speed, we blend, chop, strike, 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 up, gouge, 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 strike, strike, grab, punch, spin, claw, and then chop. So if you break down the movements, there's maybe 5, 6 self-defense movements in here. For instance, if you're approached from behind, and all you do is just hammer fist and then up with an elbow, that's a self-defense technique. If somebody starts to grab you or something and you strike at their eyes and they flinch away, and when they come back with this one, then you've got them with the gouge. Or on the other side, if you strike this way, then it opens up the attack for that. If you shoot the hand up this way and they flinch back, then it opens up the hand for the center chop. So you're seeing a lot of techniques that we throw maybe are not to be used primarily as a strike, but as a setup for the following strike. So just a little quicker, if you will. Hit, 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 yeah. And using the techniques like this makes you relax in order to let your techniques flow so you don't create so much muscle tension and muscle your techniques. One-step fighting number 8 will be from a left side attack. When practicing, practice techniques from both sides. This one will be against a straight thrust, preferably a weapon attack, usually a knife or something coming straight to the center. You've got a parry out to the side, a quick snap kick to the knee joint to drop the person down mid-level. Following up with a shudo chop to the back of the neck, a hair grab if they have hair. If they don't have the hair, you've got to go to the eye sockets or the nose to rip back the head. Ridge hand right into the windpipe, straight down with an elbow, attack to the pressure points, sit back and drop them on the head. Can always finish up with a stomp kick or whatever. What this technique teaches you to do is to, first of all, blend to the outside, drop the person down. Stunning blow, open up the other type of techniques, and practice different angles of techniques. So you have to be very careful when you're working with the neck and head area. One-step fighting number 8. Ready? Fight. Sit. Hit. One-step fighting number 9 can either be a defense against a grab. Basically in a grappling situation where there's a fight and you need to get the hands off of you. A lot of times we'll step out and knock the hands. Then it opens up and exposes the rib cage for attack. So we do some rapid-fire punches, short-range round kick, punch. If this hand's in the way, lift and come in with a strike. Strike into here, grab the hair, come into a full choke. Sit them down, and then you put them to sleep at that point. So there's a blend of different moves here in this particular one-step. So whether it's a grappling or even if he shoots a straight punch, you can always move to the outside, block, and open up your rib cage for attacking. Shooting the hair or the full choke. The kick back, and be careful when the sit down of the sleeper hold. But when doing one-steps, try to do it with a mindset that is real, but at the same time with restraint and control. Some of the techniques are damaging, some of them are dangerous. You can seriously hurt your opponent with the one-step. One-step fighting number 9. Ready? Hit. 1, 2, 3. Hit. 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 Now I'll show it again from this angle. So as the strike comes in, you evade and then open up in here. Kicking here, here. Open up, come in between here. You've got your full choke already set. Kick the leg out, sit him down. It's important right here to keep your shoulder against the neck. Push his windpipe, his trachea over top of your forearm and compress. In 3 to 5 seconds, the person should be unconscious. Our final one-step fighting number 10, will be against the left side attack. It'll be more what I call of a sensitivity drill, trapping and maintaining or retaining the attacking arm. And there's a multitude of self-defense moves in here. We'll go through it slowly. First of all, it's a straight line attack. So you evade using the windmill block with a trap. Loosen up, kick to the groin. On the forearm strike, remember you don't strike the elbow. It might hurt, but it doesn't cause the person to react. It's pressure to the elbow. So what I do, and you always keep the wrist higher than the elbow because it has more effect. So in doing any type of arm bars, the wrist always has to be higher than the elbow. You pull it in. That's the first series of self-defense moves. The next move is to maintain balance, is I do a quick exchange of the hand. Shift out, drive a side kick into the body, then move inside. I use the elbow coming right into the heart point, maintain the arm up, strike the kidney, shoot straight up, snaking up, over, into a trapping elbow lock. From here, diagonal elbow down, step across, spinning elbow, spinning elbow. Now we go into a front headlock. You'll notice that I'm under, I place my left hand on the shoulder, I come up, and on the front headlock you have to bring the radial bone up against the trachea to get the pressure. Another self-defense move is I'm going to follow my back and do a kick over. So roll, kick, my momentum comes straight up on top. Now, one of the sitting chokes is to get your right leg out and to bridge back. Or you can push the person down, apply the web choke, trachea choke, or a punch. Once again, slowly, just the first set of self-defense moves will be blend, kick, strike down, forearm. From here is a multitude of things you could do. Second set, change, lift up, open up the ribs for a kick. Third set of moves, elbow, block retain, kidney shot, snake, trapping elbow lock. Diagonal elbow, sandwiching the head in, spinning elbow, spinning elbow. Front headlock. Now on the front headlock, you can come up or you can crank the neck sideways to give it a more devastating effect. The back roll, the seated choke, or the pushback choke here. Finishing them off with any open hand strike that you wish. Now blending the techniques together, one nice coordinated move. Eight. Hit. See? Hit. 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 That concludes my one-step fighting tape. I hope this gives you a basic idea and opens up a whole new world of knowledge and techniques that you can apply in your one-steps. On the 10 one-steps I taught, I tried to show you a versatility of all the different arts that I've studied over the years. Open hand strikes, punches, knees, elbows, judo throws, jiu-jitsu throws, aikido techniques, knife defenses, and so forth. So if you look at your one-steps more realistically, I think you'll benefit greatly from them. I wish you luck in the future. Goodbye.